Welcome to Movie Hoppers. I am John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and today's editorial discussion will involve the horror genre, because who does not love horror? No matter who you are or what you do, I believe there's a side to everybody that enjoys getting the shit scared out of them. And everybody has fears. Everybody has traumas. Everybody has phobias, whether they like it or not. And sometimes it's exciting to have that fear, come into your face. It's fun to come face to face with your worst nightmares. I want to talk about horror because it's been lacking lately. And this weekend, in light of it, there's a movie coming out called As Above, So Below. It takes place in the underground catacombs of Paris. And the concept looks kind of interesting, but I don't know about the movie. I might get the chance to see it eventually, but not right away. So that's why I'm making this video as a replacement. What I'm concerned with is the future of the genre, even though I know down the road there will be something that will become a franchise and it will become a hit. But what will it be? In the past, back in the early days, we had a lot of hack and slash killers like Michael Myers, Freddy, Jason. Nowadays, in more recent times, we've had the Saw series, but I want to know what that next big horror franchise is going to be. Is it going to be something that involves torture porn? Is it going to be gory? Is it going to be scary, most importantly? And will they actually be solid films? Another example of franchises would be Paranormal Activity with those films, because I believe that the first time you saw Paranormal Activity 1, it was a really, really awesome experience. Since then, it's kind of diminished and deteriorated. There are many horror movies out there that retain that fear after the first viewing. Paranormal Activity, in my opinion, does not. After the first initial viewing, I feel like it's not scary anymore. Unless you're alone in the dark by yourself. But even then, there's something about the first movie, even after the first time, where it's like, I know what's going to happen now, so it's not that scary anymore. Blair Witch took full advantage of the possibilities that it had. Paranormal Activity was a neat concept that got transformed into a decent movie with so much hype behind it. If we're talking about the future of the horror genre here, Halloween is important, and the movie needs to come out on Halloween if it's going to be a franchise starter. Around the same time, we have the Annabelle movie coming out this year, which is a spin-off of The Conjuring. And I wouldn't mind, truly, if The Conjuring spawned a franchise of all these creepy little crawlers that came from the Warrens' closet that I'm sure they've kept undisclosed for many, many years. Based on a true story. When I think about a lot of things, not just movies, everything works in a circle, a cycle, a very vicious cycle, where people wanted those monsters again, and we got that. And it ended with Freddy vs. Jason. And then the genre developed into this weird sideshow of torture porn with the Hostel films, the Saw films, and then many other weird movies that came out. Grazie. And now we're getting to the point where I think people are wanting to be creeped out by actual ghouls again. Actual ghosts. Actual tangible creatures that could touch and scare the living shit out of you. But in correlation with perhaps the most influential and most iconic fictitious figure in horror genre of this generation, Jigsaw, we need a character that people are going to remember for a long time. And I think, in my opinion, that a good way to start with the universal monsters of this generation is to take from the internet with 4chan and all this crap, and take Slender-Man and make him a solid movie. In my opinion, Slender-Man is a character who is mysterious, he's cryptic, he's vague, he's very simplistic, and he's a character you really don't know much about him. You know what he does, and you don't know why he does it, you don't know what happens after he commits his acts, but it's really terrifying. If you don't know the backstory of Slender-Man, you could read up on the internet, you could find out. I'm not going to do all the research for you, you can look it up, it's there. But essentially, he's a tall guy in a suit with no face. He's faceless, he's just pale, with no facial features whatsoever. And tentacles come out of his back, but he likes to devour children. Kind of like Mr. Boogie from the Sinister movie that came out a couple years ago. And that's it. People thought that he was a real thing for a while. For some reason, I thought he was real too for a little bit. Grazie. There's an underrated thriller out there called The Mothman Prophecies with the guy from the X-Files in it, and I actually really enjoyed that movie the first time around, even though you never see the Mothman in the movie. I think Slender-Man should go the same route, where you should create suspense for the Slender-Man, never see what he looks like, get little glimpses of the character of the Slender-Man, and then at the end, maybe reveal him fully. But I think the best way to go about a Slender-Man movie is to never, almost absolutely never show Slender-Man. Unlike another movie that came out this year called Godzilla, which was frustrating and annoying, even though I like that movie a lot, there are ways to build suspense for these big, larger-than-life characters without making it seem frustrating for the viewer. I wrote like a treatment of sorts for a Slender-Man movie, and my idea for an opening scene would be a bunch of kids. Back in the day, my friends and I used to play Manhunt. A bunch of kids playing Manhunt, and it happens to go from their neighborhood into the nearby forest. It was a basic concept for something, but all I'm saying, essentially, is that I think Slender-Man could be a great iconic character, not just on the internet, but in the movie fame too, if he got a good movie. But you have to have good screenwriters, a good director, a good cast. A director or a studio or anybody who wants to make a Slender-Man movie has to have a clear vision involved. It can't be one of those movies where a bunch of ideas get thrown into a melting pot to create something that's a mess. It has to be a clear vision. But I want to know from you guys, turn the tables to you, what would you think of a Slender-Man movie? And if you don't like Slender-Man, what do you think should become the next big horror franchise for Halloween and for Hollywood coming around, since it's almost September? Do you think it should be something supernatural, something torture porny, or something totally different that I'm not even thinking about right now? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel so you'll never miss a review or video from me ever again. Also, check out Facebook, Twitter, and We Live Film in the info box. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and I'll see you guys next time. Grazie.